evening, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Sounds of the Diaspora, Artist to Artist, a conversation with yours truly, Dion Parson. I'm really excited about our guest tonight, someone that I've gotten to know over the last couple of months and spent some time collaborating and working with him. And we're going to talk about some of that. But right now, just join me in welcoming to the Sounds of the Diaspora, the one and only Mr. Chris Glassman.
Hey, thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Chris, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thank you for your patience and thank you for your understanding, man. It's been a minute trying to get you on the show, so thank you for being here.
Hey, I'm just really happy to be here and glad to chat with you as well. I'm such a huge fan of your drumming and your whole artistic concept, so it's really very special to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. Well, for our audience sake, they don't know you the way I know you, but you're a trombonist, you're a composer, you're a arranger, you're educator. You're currently serving as the director of jazz studies at Interlochen Arts Academy. So you wear many hats, man. You have a lot going on.
I do. Yeah, I do. Definitely. That's just kind of how I've always been in life, is I always have tons of interests, and I feel like I consider myself a lifelong learner. So like it puts me in situations where I'm juggling a lot of different things at once. But I feel like that's kind of the musician way, right? It's like so many musicians, it's like they have so many plates they spin at all times of the day. So I feel like I'm just one of many, including yourself and many of the artists that you've had on, so.
Yeah, I try to share with some of my non-musical friends like this, like, man, you're doing so many things. I'm like, well, it seems like it's a lot. Yes, it's a lot if you see it that way, but we're doing a lot. We're doing a lot of the same things in different situations.
Yeah,
that's really what it comes down to, because the average person like have their day job and they go to work and then they may have a part-time job or whatever, but everything that we do, I mean, if you're performing, you're performing. If you're arranging, you're still writing music. If you're teaching, you're still teaching music. So it really comes down to kind of the same concept being shared in different areas.
Yeah, it's all cyclical. Like it feels like one side, playing a gig, you have insights that you translate to teaching.
Right.
And then the teaching insights are like, well, maybe I should take this concept and turn it into a piece. And then you make that piece and then it hits the gig and it just goes the other way, or it's constant.
Right. And like you mentioned, like a lot of our peers have this type of schedule. It's really interesting. Cats are playing, they're teaching, they're gigging, they're mentoring, they're performing, they're arranging, they're composing, they're producing.
Yeah. And I think most of the musicians I know and work with are kind of like, we all live with like tons of FOMO, like fear of missing out. So it's like we're doing one thing for a little bit, and then it's like, wait a second, this cat's got a gig over here. I want to play at the Jazz Kitchen, and then you play that gig, and then you're like, gigging a lot, and then you're like, wait, but this person just like bought a house. They got a steady paycheck. It's like, what if I went to this thing? It's like constant.
It's a constant. It's a constant. But it takes a while to get to that point. And one of the things I want to talk to you about is like, your upbringing, your musical upbringing, because we have our childhood upbringing and our family. Like I'm the only musician in my family besides my son. But it's like, so for me, it was like I had to kind of convince everybody that this is going to be worthwhile at the very end. Everybody's like, no, I'll get you a job, man. A musician, what? So your musical upbringing was a little bit different, because I know you shared this with me in the past that your father played.
Yeah, he still plays kind of occasionally for fun, and he does. He has a little basement studio, so he's always recording himself playing and trying to perfect that. But yeah, I grew up by my dad as a drummer, and my brother is also a professional musician. My older brother, got two older brothers.
Okay,
and he's currently playing both drum set and percussion in the Air Force Academy band in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So yeah, he's got the sweetest gig of all, which is just that great paycheck, and he's always playing all different styles, and and then my oldest brother as well started as a musician, and he would laugh if I told him this, but he was actually, in my opinion, the one that had the most talent in our family.
Mhm.
But he was discouraged very early because when he was in high school, they told him, if you want to play in band, you have to march the tenor drums.
Mm.
Like, he was like, I don't want to do that. And so he unfortunately quit music in high school. So, but yeah, so I come from a very musical family.
Mhm. And you started playing early with the drums. That was your first instrument, right?
Yeah, I started playing drums. I think the first time my dad sat me down, I was about 4, maybe 5 years old. And it was always like I grew up with like an electric and an acoustic drum set in the house. It was like the electric drum set is what you can play on anytime, anywhere, totally cool. You put the headphones on, I don't want to hear it. But like,
bang away in your own
yeah,
way.
that's right. And then once a month you get to play on the real drum set for like an hour. And it was just because, they were both working and my dad ran he's always run his own business for the past 28 years or so. He's run his own business from the house. So it's always been, it's been electric drum set life, very quiet. And and I grew up loving actually heavy metal, especially like progressive metal. I like had this really long, many, many years of listening to like Dream Theater and also new metal and other sorts of rock and roll. And my dad comes from he has a love of Steely Dan and Chicago and a lot of those. We now call it yacht rock, honestly, which is very funny. But for him, it's like this, and it still is pretty cutting edge, harmonically and structure wise. So
where if going from metal, I mean, I could understand it, but how did you get the jazz influence? Because you're really versed in jazz. I mean,
yeah, what happened was that when I was 14, actually, most of the stuff that happened was actually through my friendship that developed with my middle brother. Both of my brothers, really, but my middle brother was getting really involved in music. He was trying out for college. He's 3 years older than me. So when I was a high school freshman, he was a senior.
Okay.
And so through that, he had a friend that introduced him to 2 records, Clifford Brown, Max Roach, and Wayne Shorter's Speak No Evil. Those 2 albums. And he played them for me. And at 14, I was like, Wayne Shorter terrified me. Speak No Evil was like scary, which I now realize is actually amazing. That actually just listening to that album made me like fearful. And then Clifford Brown like exploded my brain out of my skull. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine anybody I ever know playing a trumpet like that.
And that age as well too.
Oh yeah, at 14. I attended a jazz summer camp for 1 week at the Colorado Conservatory for the Jazz Arts, which is still going. It's just like a super affordable after school program. And I remember that I went in there and they asked us to do 2 things. They assigned us a musician on our instrument. At this time, I had just started playing trombone because I had played saxophone in grade school band, and then my saxophone broke. And so they gave me a euphonium. They were like, this is what we got. Good luck, kid. So I started playing trombone and leading into high school, and they assigned me, they said, you got to check out Curtis Fuller. And I listened to Curtis Fuller on Blue Train, actually. And that for me was like amazing because he could also play double time. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's a trombonist playing like the speed that Clifford Brown plays. And my brain was just like, again, another explosion moment. And I loved it so much that I didn't know it at the time, but I found out later that I was able to do this because I have perfect pitch. But I sat down and I transcribed Curtis Fuller's solo. I didn't know that that's what that was, but I used this app called Guitar Pro because it was a free software, and I had to figure out how to write the solo in Guitar Tab. So I wrote it out, and I went into the thing, and the the class, and I said, I wrote this out. They were like, you wrote out the solo, So at that point, I was hooked.
Yeah. And at that age, that's, I got college school students. I'm still trying to let's transcribe this. And at that age, doing it without any guidance is pretty remarkable. But perfect pitches, that explains a lot.
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, and then, they come to find out, I got into in my high school, and they had me do like a test, and they were like, "Hey,
okay,
if I play this piece for you, can you tell me what this note is?" And I was like, "Yep, okay, that's a G." Yeah, blah blah blah. I took the test, and they were like, "Yeah, I think you have perfect pitch." So,
wow,
yeah.
That's the I don't have perfect pitch, but I heard it's like a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It really is. Yeah, it's a blessing, obviously, for all the ways that people know, which is like I can learn melodies a lot faster, and I can keep up, kind of catch on. As a jazz musician, it's immensely helpful because I can just sometimes I can just sit down and listen and be like, okay, we're in this key. It's kind of this kind of progression, and figure my way through it. But the curse is that my transposition skill is really underdeveloped. Like if someone puts my oral skills teacher in college found out that I had perfect pitch. So what he started doing is he was doing the oral skills quizzes, and then he would tell everybody, you have to do this dictation, but you're in the key. It was a wrong key. He's like, we're in the key of this, but it was actually like in a different key. And I just like couldn't. All of a sudden, my grade was like, I went from like 100, and I was down to like a 70. And he was like, "You have perfect pitch, don't you?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "I knew it. I found your kryptonite. You can't transpose to save your life."
Yeah, because you're just stuck in that key.
Yep. It's like I can't hear it any other way.
Yeah. Hey, it's pros and cons for everything, but that's great. But but it helps with your arranging because you do some amazing arrangements, especially for the big band.
Wow. Thank you.
So it's it's as a musician that that I write, but it's like it takes me a minute. And when I hear arrangements for big band and stuff that's that complicated, it's just fascinating to me, like how cats can just spit it out. I've seen friends of mine just sit down and like, oh yeah, this is arrangement, and I was playing in this band, and they just wrote it out like on the spot. And it's just amazing to me how people can do that.
Wow. Yeah. I'm not quite there yet. I would like to be someday. Sometimes, you know how it is. Sometimes it's like it comes like right away, and you can just get an idea, and then it can get into flow, and things start really cooking. And sometimes it's like I'm working on a project right now, and for some reason I'm at a bar where I'm totally stuck, and I've gone all the way around it. I've done the end, I've done the middle, and then in the melody, I'm at this one spot, and I don't know what to do. So
it's gonna come to you.
It'll come. Yeah. Usually it's like you just have to take a week, and then you come back and it's like, oh, it's just this. Bang, done.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. So when you're writing, this is mainly for our listeners because we have a lot of musicians that sign in also. When you're writing, do you write from a particular standpoint? Do you get a melody first, or how does your creative process go?
I've tried a bunch of different ways, and the shortest answer I can give is that each approach has a different result for me.
Okay.
So like a lot of times I'll get a commission and they'll say, "Hey, I've got this tune. Can you write a big band version of it?" And then my first thought is, okay, what's the most recognizable part of the melody? And how can I make an intro out of that? Make a soli? How can I make all the different parts of the song work with that really important part of the melody? Sometimes in the case of when I wrote a couple of original big band charts more recently, it started with a chord or a concept. I wanted to write a piece that's I want it to be all based in fifths, perfect fifths. So that was the concept. And then from that, the whole song kind of sounds like that. People sounds kind of like a water level from a video game. It's very open, and then sometimes it's a bass line, a little bass line thing. I'm always thinking in bass lines because I play bass trombone and I come from the trombone section. And I feel like being a trombonist it is kind of like a natural thing to be a big band arranger, but I feel like the reason is because we're right in the middle. We
Right,
get to
right.
hear the trumpets blasting our ears. You know, if you're on the bass trombone chair, you get to hear all the rhythm sections super clearly. You get to hear all the saxophones. You just get the feeling of the sound of each instrument really clearly. So
Yeah, and the interesting thing with trombone too, even from a concert band or even marching band standpoint, you end up playing a lot of counter lines against the
yes,
melody.
yeah,
So
yeah.
from a arranging standpoint, you hear, ba da 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 da, but the melody is be da 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 da. You have this counter line going on if you play in a march, and because I grew up playing trombone before I switched to drums, so like for me,
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm hearing all of these counter lines. I'm like, so what's the melody? And when you hear the melody, then naturally you already have two lines going against each other because you have your part, and then you learn the
Yep.
melody. And then you said, like, if you're playing the bass trombone, then you have the bass part that complements this as well. So it's great that, and a lot of trombone players are just great arrangers because of that. I think it helps you to hear the full pitch of the ensemble better.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned that too, because now you're making me think of the fact that in high school band, I really actually played euphonium primarily, and in marches, euphonium is the clarinet of the brass section. So like any Sousa march, you're playing all the lines for everything. Like in wind band music, the euphonium is busy the whole concert. So I guess that makes sense. I never thought about it that way, but
Yeah. I just see trombone players as being great arrangers because of that. I mean, conceptually, that's kind of what I deduced it to. I could be wrong. Just some great guys that's just arranging, but I think it's part of your job description. Also, just being where you are in an ensemble.
Yeah,
You just
and we play so many chord tones. It's like and I'm my sort of thorny opinions. I think that anything you write for the trombone sounds good. Like you can write anything in the trombone section for some reason, it will sound good. Any chord, it can be crunchy, it can be low, it can be whatever, all over the place. But for some reason, the trombone tone just like makes any chord sound good.
One of my best musical experience that I have to admit it is when I went back to finish my master's at Rutgers University, and I got placed in a trombone ensemble. And the director was Conrad Herwig, and we played everything from Charlie Brown down. But it was just like 5 to 7 trombone players at a time.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And growing up playing trombone, I can hear, that's my voice. I can hear it,
Yeah.
so it was like really amazing. And another experience, that's one, but the other experience was playing in Steve Torre's shell choir.
Yeah.
All the trombone players and the conch shells. And that blew me away, man. The power of that band is like, I wish that band can play more because people just need to hear that sound, like just all these trombone players, and then they switch to conch shells, and the tonality of it is just amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've seen so many I've seen videos of you playing too, and it's just like it's a sound that everybody I think needs to hear at some point.
Yeah.
When I started listening to Maestro Torre, he is a maestro. I got to call him a maestro because he really is. He's about as a legend as you can get in all ways. So, and I remember checking out, I think it was Rainbow People, and I started hearing him play conch shell, and I was like, what is that?
Yeah.
What is that sound? And never forgetting it. And my teacher at the time was like, oh, you didn't know he plays conch shell? And I was like, first of all, what is a conch shell?
I'm laughing because it was a natural fit for me to play with Steve because I grew up every Saturday. The conch man, the fish man would come in, and we're like, my grandma would be like, the fish is here, and I run down the hill, run down the road to get the fish, as a kid. And it's like, I did that sometimes, but like other times, it just became a natural sound in our community. And it's also used for celebrations like, Emancipation Day or, whatever. So it's a sound I grew up with. It's a cultural thing. And that's really, it's amazing, So for me, when I joined that band, it was just a natural fit. I was like, wow, I didn't know you could put like 8 conch shells together and create a band. I just didn't know that, but it made sense.
And they get some power out of those things too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a great band, man. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, we get caught up in that, when
Oh
we're
my god,
with the
yeah,
sound wise. And the other thing about the trombone that I'm gonna have to admit, one of the reasons I ended up playing it because it was a natural voice. It matches the male tonality as well.
oh yeah,
You know,
totally,
that's
100%.
the tonality that most men speak in. So it's a natural sound for me. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: when you I want to switch real quick because you do a lot of great things, arranging, composing, and all of that. But your position as
Mm,
the director of jazz studies at Interlochen, puts you in a very unique, position. There with some wonderful kids. I mean,
absolutely.
how did you end up there? You know.
So, I mean, I was hired on only a few weeks before school started as an interim. They had sometimes there's the call, like an application that you find online. I was really avidly searching for jobs. Sometimes you just go online and you see one that's like, hey, this is a job. We have this very limited window to hire for whatever reason. And so I actually got a note from one of my teachers, from Rodney Whitaker, saying, hey, there's a job that's going to open up. Like, you should definitely check it out.
Mhm.
There's a short period of time for it. I applied, had a ton of interviews really quickly. We had actually just moved from Michigan back to my hometown of Denver.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, our lease had ended, and we weren't really sure what to do as our next step. So we were like, you know what, we'll move back to Denver. Denver's a great city. We'll find a place, but we'll hang with my family for a month or so, find a place and some new employment, and then we'll go from there. But I ended up getting hired as an interim director for 1 year, and we went right back to Michigan. It was like after
Right.
5 weeks.
Right.
So, and I remember it like it was yesterday, because we arrived, we pulled into campus. We were living on one of these apartments that they have on campus for like temporary housing. And we opened the door, and Brandy Carlisle is like playing. She's playing a concert in the auditorium, and it's just the sound of Brandy Carlisle like coming through. It was like weird. It almost felt like a magical like entrance music. Like, they got the harps or whatever. It's like, welcome. It was amazing. So, and then through that process, the interim directorship, I had done some teaching at Michigan State. I had done some fill-in teaching at Michigan State. I taught for a year at a small state school in Saginaw, Michigan, Saginaw Valley State.
Mhm.
I had taught in community music schools for high school for about 5 years or so. And I had taught at Brevard Music Center's camp. So it's like all these different things kind of put together
Mhm.
were actually all the skills that worked for the Interlochen job. So
Great.
the kind of collegiate style of teaching and curriculum, and then the emphasis on the summer camp, because Interlochen has an almost 100-year-old summer camp, and then the comfort of working with high schoolers, because high schoolers they just have different, as they say, the brains are still developing until
Right.
you're 25. So now that I'm talking about it, it seems very much like, okay, all these things came together for this moment. Is very kind of
And
amazing to think
the
about.
talent pool, I mean, I went to Interlochen also. I went there for the
Yeah,
summer. What I enjoy about, just that institution is just the talent is so overwhelmed. It's like
yeah,
everybody's there so talented. It's not like if you had a normal high school and you have a kid that's advanced and you have a kid that's intermediate and you're trying to piece your band together. I mean,
yeah,
you're dealing with some really amazing kids, and in that process, you can really mold them into the next, the next catch, like the next level
yeah.
of musicianship, which is great.
It's amazing, and it's a huge responsibility, in my
Mm.
opinion,
Yeah.
because I think any educator, I mean, any educator I know of, that they recognize how big their responsibility is,
Mhm.
in because a lot of times students look to their teachers for answers on not just the questions in class, but just like they model on teacher behavior and habits and all this stuff. So especially with students at Interlochen, where, you know, in some ways they're very advanced, but then as a student, an advanced student, they're trying to not show the cracks in their armor. They're like,
Yeah.
you know,
Still
so
teenagers. They're still teenagers. So, you know.
exactly. Yeah. So it's in my opinion, it's like one of the most fulfilling things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Is work with these students, because you can get into such a state of just like pure inspiration and like and joy and love of like learning and of exploring this music, and just like an endless appetite for, you know, diving in, that I wish that I want to see more in everyday life for both musicians and just people in general, you know, just more joy.
Yeah. Well, man, continued success with you out there with
Thank you.
Amazing job you're doing as well, and continue that with your staff as well, because you got some great folks out there working with you. So
yeah, I have to give 2 shout outs. One is to Bryn Roberts, who's the Hammond Family Chair of Jazz Piano. He's an amazing pianist. He's got like several decades of professional experience, as well as like in touring. And then on top of that, he's living here, and he's got a young kid, and he is absolutely being this pinnacle mentor for these students, as well as Courtney Kaiser Sandler, who's the head of our contemporary music. And she would never take credit for anything going well ever, but she's almost the source of everything that goes right in our area. So
yeah,
it's a super great program.
Yeah, well, continued success, man. And
thank you.
Yes, sir. We have some comments here. I mean, this is a deep one, but music significantly, listening significantly engages a specific neutral network involving the medial, orbitofrontal, and ventromedial prefrontal cortex, key areas of the brain's pleasure system, more so than in adults. This means music produces a stronger reward signal in teenagers. Do you find this to be true?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, anytime I hip a student to a new recording that they really like grab onto immediately, one of my favorite ways to think about this is I teach a jazz history class, which if I could give it like a subtitle, it would be Jazz History Through Listening. Mm-hmm. We listen to like so much music, and anytime we play this game where it's like, we're going to listen to this record and you have to pick your favorite track and you have to be able to argue why it's the best one. Mm-hmm. And when they find their favorite track, you can see like the like he's saying, it's like their brain is lighting up with like the joy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Great stuff. Man, we could stay on this topic forever, but I'm looking at the time and I'm like,
let's keep going.
You shared some great music with us, and I want our audience to hear some of the work you've done as a leader. We didn't even talk about your recordings and you as a leader, and running the Alluvion Big Band, and so we haven't even talked about this as yet. But we'll, I guess, through this next section, through the music, we'll be able to present that. But you shared some wonderful music with us that I would like for our audience to hear. Wow. So we'll start off with the first song you shared is Belly's Bounce.
Belly's Bounce, written for my niece Annabelle. Yeah.
Okay, Belly's Bounce written for your niece, and you have a great band. Who's in that band?
Okay, so it's entire band full of my mentors: Rodney Whitaker on bass, Ulysses Owens on drums, Sherelle Cassidy on an alto saxophone, special guest Steve Davis, who's one of my trombone heroes, Bill Cunliffe on piano and as the arranger for that. And then produced by my closest mentor and Guggenheim Fellow, Michael Dees.
Michael Dees, yes. Great. Right. So let's check this out. Belly's Bounce.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You don't hear the bass trombone like that being featured like that at all. It's usually like stuck in a section in a big band.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to change. It's true. The bass trombone is not really typically seen as a combo instrument, although there are some cats that have been doing it from well before me. Max Seigel, James Borowski. I used to actually run a podcast where we would interview jazz bass trombonists. I called it 8V Bebop. So yeah, that was the whole point.
Okay. One of our listeners shared, you seem to use a unique lyrical style used in unusual slide positions. Am I right?
How'd you hear that? Hopefully it was not the intonation.
Well, so explain the slide position and the trigger, because it's a combination, right?
Yes. Yeah. So bass trombone has two valves like you would expect on a trumpet, but they with the combination of the slide and either one, two, or both of the valves, you're able to get alternate positions so that, first off, so you don't have to go so far down the slide unless you're really in the low register. And then also so that really as a trombonist, what we want is for our playing to be like this. As you know, if it's like this, if we're moving like this, then it's really easy. So the more that you use the valve to make the slide positions more intuitive, the easier it is. So that's really that's what I'm trying to do, is use those valves as, like, honestly, for longevity, so I can play the trombone for longer.
Bass trombone 101. Remember that.
That's right. That's right.
I love the funk trombone. Okay.
Thanks. Great groove. I know.
Yeah, the cats are swinging, man.
That's right. I got some of the baddest cats, and they were all. It was kind of a dream come true. That's kind of why I called it living the dream. It's like all my favorite musicians said yes to playing on a record with me.
And what year did that come out?
2022. So that's, oh my gosh, that's 3 years ago.
Yeah. So, beautiful.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you shared another song from that same recording with the same band, I think.
It is the same band. Yep.
Same band. Okay. Pencils Down.
Pencils Down.
Yeah. That's more of an up-tempo vibe,
Yeah. It's a more up-tempo vibe, and the concept is basically like, I grew up in the first era of young folks who had to take all those standardized tests. Like in Colorado is called CSAT, Colorado Standardized some kind of placement thing. And so the song is about test anxiety. It's like, pencils down, you get that call. It's like, going to collect your Scantrons. You better use the number 2 pencil and fill that thing in all the way right. That kind of
you're done. Pencils down, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Yes. I was wondering where that name came from. Now it makes sense. All right. Well, let's check it out. Pencils down. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Definitely
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so
has a
Ulysses is like nailing those hits.
yeah,
It's just like,
yeah, it's tight.
and
Tight.
Sherelle always sounds so good. I'm glad we were able to give her kind of like that train moment. Just drums and alto. Like
Yeah.
that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, the tune took some nice turns. Yeah,
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
stuff.
Thank you
We
for
have,
sharing this. I haven't listened to this in at least a year, so it's really cool to kind of like go back to. It's like I don't like listening to my old records because you always catch the little mistakes or whatever. But this is nice. I'm enjoying it.
yeah, refreshing.
It's refreshing. That's right.
Great. So we have a nice comment here. This definitely has a New Orleans marching band groove. Love it. Okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank
Great.
you.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, we'll keep moving on with the music that you share. So this is another. This is a big band here, and
Yeah.
this is an interesting topic. So for a conversation, this is a good. I call this a conversation piece.
It is. It totally is. Yeah.
Pink is pink. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'll give you the super super short version of this, and that's that the pinkest pink is a pigment, like a paint pigment that you can buy. I went down this super big rabbit hole about this I was thinking about doing a music album, like doing a jazz record about colors, kind of like Miles. Miles has a color, like a record that's each tune is colors.
Okay.
And I wanted to do a song about this color called Vanta Black, which is such a dark pigment that it's like, you check it out. It's really wild. If you look up Vanta Black, it kind of looks like you cut a hole out of something. It's so dark black. And it's owned by this guy named Anish Kapoor, who's the artist who created Cloudgate or The Bean in Chicago.
Okay.
So, but he's very particular about who he gives this paint color to because it's very dangerous. So, because it's absorbs so much light, it can actually catch fire.
Okay.
And so there was a company that wanted to release their own version of it, and he sued them. He sued the pants off of them for this. And so then they started creating a whole line of pigment products that are like the blackest black instead of Vanta Black, because they can't use the same name. And then they came up with one called the pinkest pink, which is supposed to be like so pink. And I started thinking about, and it's very funny because on their website they say you can buy this as long as you're not Anish Kapoor. So this like famous artist. It's very funny. So I thought about what would a song sound like if it was like someone giving a middle finger to someone else. And I was like, okay, here comes the heavy metal roots, you know?
Okay. Interesting story. You got to.
It's a very interesting story.
You got to kind of like put that along with the song somewhere so people can.
I know. Every time we play it, it's like I have like a moment where I'm like, okay, you got to understand the title of this song because it's important, you know, and it puts the tune in context because it's very, you'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Well, it's a nice groove. I enjoyed it. So let's check it out. Our audience will hear it for themselves and they'll make their own conclusions. So
yeah.
Let's check it out. The Pinkest Pink. Well, that definitely takes us back to your metal.
That was nasty good. Wow, thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was like my first thought when I started writing this was like, how can I fit 5/4 into it?
Yeah,
That's where I went to. Yeah. I was really It was kind of like, let me throw all these ideas at a tune because it's supposed to be chaotic, and so we'll see what happens. Some double.
It works.
Yeah. And the band that's featured there is the big band that I'm music directing up here in Interlochen. It's called the Alluvion Big Band. It's an amazing group of folks. That was our second gig, and they put this impossible piece together in like 20 minutes. So really amazing, incredible musicians.
Great stuff. I enjoyed that rock guitar solo.
yeah, he's ripping it, right? He's ripping it. Zach Summerfield. And he's like, I think he might be maybe 20 or 21 years old. So he's a very young guitarist. He's slaying it.
Nice. Great. Well, man, we're gonna close out this session, man. I hate to see it end because we're having such a good time, but
me too.
We're gonna close this out with another one of your compositions entitled Clear Blaze.
Yeah. So this is a kind of like a new release that hasn't come out yet. So people on this podcast are getting what they call an exclusive sneak peek of my latest album that's going to come out early next year. So yeah. Thank you so much again for having me on the show. It's a blast. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and it's been awesome to get to rap with you up in Michigan and over these past few months and meeting at Jen. And so I'm really grateful for your help and mentorship. Whether you've provided it or not, you've provided a ton of mentorship to me. And
man, we're just having a good time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, so, likewise, man. But let's check out this song that you shared with us, and hopefully our audience will enjoy it as much as we will. Clear Blaze.
Yeah.
I love that rhythmic modulation throughout the tune, man. That's
Oh, thank
great.
you. Yeah, and the pianist Bryn Roberts, he really caught that thing. He went ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So who's in that band?
Yeah, so that band is Keith Hall on drums, Javier Enrique on bass. Javier, I've been friends with him for almost 10 years now. Walter Blanding on saxophone.
Oh, Walter, okay.
Yeah, Bryn Roberts on piano, and one of my closest friends, Nathan Borton, on guitar, and he's mixing it. He mixed this. And then on trumpet is a amazing rising star, Skylar Tang from San Francisco. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be an awesome record. I'm really excited to share it with everybody early next year. So,
yeah. Okay. Nice. This sounds great, man. Congratulations on a nice project. Can't wait for it to come out. Let us know, man. We'll give you a album release shot.
Hey.
Spot, rather.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely. We have a nice question. Do you know trombonist Jeff Bradshaw?
I know of him for sure, but I don't know him personally. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, Chris, man. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show and sharing your music and your insights on the music and your upbringing and all of the wonderful stuff you're doing, teaching, composing, arranging, educating, folks at Interlochen. So continued success to you and all the great things you're doing. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here, man. It's really been.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such a blast to just have some great conversation. And it's an amazing podcast. You've had so many of my heroes on here. I saw Obed and Herlin Riley and Steve Toure and like everybody under the sun. So it's very much an honor for me to even be on the same medium as those, and with you, of course. So.
Oh man, well, we're just creating a platform and sharing the information. So thank you again, and we will be in touch. Keep us posted when you release that album, because I'm serious. We can do a nice release presentation with you.
That'd be amazing. Absolutely, I'd love to.
Before I let you go, let our audience know how they can follow you, any social media, website.
Yeah, the easiest way is probably to follow me on Instagram at Brass Glassman. That's my Instagram handle. And I have a website, chrisglassman.com. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's the easiest way to get in touch with me. So
easy peasy.
Yeah,
I love it. Chris, thank you very, very much, man. All the best to you and continued success in everything you do, man. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
That was the one and only Chris Glassman sharing his music. And, he's just amazing musician, man. Just please check him out. Follow him on Instagram. Check out his website. Purchase his music. Again, he mentioned he has another CD coming out in 2026, and we will definitely have him back for a CD release presentation during that time. So we really enjoyed having him on the show. Continue to support the music and come back next week and join us as we bring to Sounds of Diaspora another amazing musician. This gentleman is an amazing guitarist, and his name is Randy Napoleon, and you will hear his music and get to know him better as well. So we look forward to seeing you next week on Sounds of the Diaspora. All right. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys tonight, and we look forward to seeing you next week. All right. Take care. All the best. Have a beautiful evening. Good night.